In 1974, Germany hosts the matches that will decide which two teams would meet at the World Cup. Holland, led by Johan Cruyff, defeats former World Cup champion Brazil 2-0. In a clash between two unbeaten teams, German Gerd Müller scores a goal and guides the German team to victory over Poland. Holland and Germany advance to the World Cup on this day in sports, July 3rd, 1974. Steffi Graf, shown here against rival Aranza Sanchez Vicario at the 1992 Federation Cup final, has over 20 Grand Slam tournament victories, by far the most victories of any active player. She has multiple wins at each Grand Slam event and won a silver medal at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. Steffi Graf wins one of her Wimbledon titles on this day in sports, July 4th, 1993.
It's World Cup play in Barcelona. The Brazilians, the odds-on favorites, but Italy with the unstoppable Paolo Rossi will not be denied. Rossi scores once, then Brazil, then Rossi, then Brazil, then Rossi. All three goals for Italy in a 3-2 surprise. Italy goes on to beat Poland and West Germany for the Cup. Italy beats Brazil on this day in sports, July 5th, 1982.
The city of Munich, West Germany, hosts the 1974 World Cup, where the Netherlands team is favored. It took only the first minute of the match for Netherlands' Jan Neeskens to score his team's first and only goal. West German Paul Breeder cashes in on a penalty and ties the game. Gerd Müller scores one more and brings West Germany to a 2-1 victory. West Germany becomes World Cup champions on this day in sports, July 7th, 1974.
In Seville, Spain, a World Cup game for the record books. For the first time ever, a Cup semifinal is decided on penalties. It was 3-3 between West Germany and France before Horst Rubisch came up with the final tally and a 5-4 victory. But the Germans used it all up and lost to Italy in the Cup final. West Germany advances on this day in sports, July 8th, 1982. His nickname was Pablito Mundial. No wonder. Paolo Rossi of the Italian team scored 6 goals in 3 World Cup games in Spain. 3 against Brazil, 2 against Poland, and 1 against West Germany in the Cup final. Italy had overcome incredible odds after barely surviving the first round, but inspired by Rossi, Italy becomes World Cup champion on this day in sports, July 11th, 1982. In San Juan, Puerto Rico, the United States, with a team ranging from novices to veterans, dominates the Pan Am Games, winning an astounding total of 127 gold medals. Cuba and Canada runners-up in the standings. It was a remarkable performance as many world records were broken. On the final day of competition, the U.S. continued its dominance, ending the games on this day in sports, July 14th, 1979. Unbeaten heavyweight Evander Holyfield takes on Brazilian Edilson Rodriguez in a WBC regional bout. In the match before this one, Holyfield had knocked out Michael Dokes in 10 rounds. Here he needs only 2, as Rodriguez doesn't have a chance. He's knocked out in the second round, and Evander Holyfield wins again on his way to the title on this day in sports, July 15th, 1989.
Yevgeny Kafelnikov, nicknamed the Russian Rocket, has been a key piece to his country's performance at the 1994 and 95 Davis Cup finals against Sweden and the United States. With his powerful serve, he has won Grand Slam tournaments such as the 1996 French Open. One of his other important victories happened at the Swiss Open on this day in sports, July 16, 1994.
In Montreal, the Olympic Games open amid controversy, as only 92 nations participate. Some 40 African countries boycotted the Games, demanding that New Zealand be expelled because of rugby games with South Africa, which was suspended from the Games over racial policies. But these Games become a great success. The 21st Olympiad inaugurated in Montreal on this day in sports, July 17, 1976. Helsinki, Finland, site of the 15th Olympiad, finds a new power making its debut. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republic has not competed since it was formed in 1917. But the USSR went on to win 22 gold, 30 silver, and 19 bronze medals, second only to the United States, a major Olympic sports power born on this day in sports, July 19, 1952. The Helsinki Olympics, a showcase for Czechoslovakia's Emil Zatopek, who becomes the only man to win the 5,000 meters, the 10,000, and the marathon in the same games. In his fabulous career, Zatopek won a total of 4 Olympic gold medals and established 18 world records. Emil Zatopek wins the 10,000 meters in Helsinki on this day in sports, July 20th, 1952.
German Michael Stich has been one of the great players of the 90s. He won Wimbledon in 1991, and alongside his fellow countryman Boris Becker, won the 1993 Davis Cup, as well as a gold in Olympic doubles in Barcelona in '92. Among the many international victories he has won is the Mercedes Cup on this day in sports, July 21st, 1991.
In London, 8 teams battle in the World Cup quarterfinals. All of the action centered on host and eventual cup winner England against Argentina, as the Brits move on 1-0. Germany, who will eventually lose to England, also won over Uruguay. Portugal beat North Korea, and Russia over Hungary, as 4 European powers advanced to the semifinals on this day in sports, July 23rd, 1966. Spain, after 7 failed attempts, finally is hosting the Olympic Games. A record 172 countries participate with more than 10,000 competitors. South Africa is back after a 32-year ban. Germany competes under one flag, and the former Soviet Union is entered as the Community of Independent States. And the Dream Team with Michael Jordan makes its debut on this day in sports, July 25th, 1992.
At the Barcelona Olympic Games, it's a great day for the country of Bulgaria, as weightlifter Ivan Ivanov captures Olympic gold and establishes 3 Olympic records. Ivanov showed off his strength and power by winning the snatch, jerk, and total events in Olympic record fashion. A big day for small Ivan Ivanov on this day in sports, July 26, 1992. The women's 4x100 meters relay at the Helsinki Olympics is a duel between the U.S. and Germany. Though both teams were clocked in a world record time of 45.9 seconds, the U.S. is the winner, sparked by 15-year-old sensation Barbara Pearl Jones, the youngest woman ever to win Olympic gold. The U.S. women win gold on this day in sports, July 27, 1952.
The Olympic Games in Moscow, a showcase for Italian runner Pietro Manea, who has dreamed of winning a gold medal since his youth. After 2 previous attempts at bronze in the Munich Games and 4th place in Montreal, he lives his dream, winning the 200 meters and beating out Alan Wells of England and Donald Quarry of Jamaica. Pietro Manea comes through on this day in sports, July 28, 1980. It's history in the making in the high jump. In San Juan, Puerto Rico, Cuban Javier Sotomayor becomes the first person ever to break 8 feet in this event. It took place at the Caribbean Track and Field Championships. Javier Sotomayor clearing 8 feet on his 3rd attempt on this day in sports, July 29, 1989.
The Moscow Olympics pole vaulting event featured 3 competitors who had set world records in the months leading up to the Games, including 1976 gold medalist Tadeusz Losansky from Poland and local Soviet favorite Konstantin Volkov. But Władysław Kosakiewicz, also from Poland, was a surprise winner with a new world mark of his own. Olympic champion Kosakiewicz did it on this day in sports, July 30th, 1980.
It's the marathon at the Montreal Olympics. The man who won 4 years earlier in Munich, Frank Shorter of the U.S., is a heavy favorite. So is Lassi Viren of Finland. 2 hours into the race, however, East Germany's unknown Władimir Czapinski surprises everyone with his dominance and wins. He repeats his victory 4 years later in Moscow. Władimir Czapinski wins the marathon on this day in sports, July 31st, 1976.